So you have to address and proactively start to walk the talk that you've been kind of professing and pontificating about inside your organization. Or else the critique is credible, relevant, and should be taken into strong consideration. Hello everyone, my name is Cyrilda Summers McGee, and this is the Ask Us campaign in partnership with the Portland Business Journal. It is an opportunity for you to ask us any question that has to do with people, culture, workplace, workforce, leadership, management, and I will give you a direct response, the kind of response I would give to clients and family members, okay? So let's get started. Our next question that we'll be exploring is a bit of a long one, so let's get to it, all right? Here's the question. I have an employee who has taken to social media to express his opinion about our company's commitment to inclusion. He's proactively trolling our posts while working at our company. Wow. We are working very hard to find minority candidates that are qualified for our jobs, but he doesn't believe we are working fast enough. He's disengaged at work, he's negative, and he's overall difficult to deal with. He's not a person of color. He sees himself as an advocate. I see his point, but his approach is destructive. I feel like if we discipline him for his behavior, he's going to go to social media and say more bad things. What should we do to get this under control? Oh, this is an interesting one. I'm glad you sent it. Here's my response. What a great question. And it's a complicated situation. So I'm gonna piece this together. Just roll with me for a little bit, gang, okay? The challenge of this question is that I'm getting one side of a story, right? And I know that this is your truth, but in human resources, I have this saying, there's your truth and his truth, and the real truth is somewhere in between. Maybe it's closer to you, maybe it's closer to him. So I'm really getting only one vantage point, which is complicated. This is what I'll say. If he is the trolling piece, right? Him coming onto your social media account and responding to comments in a disparaging way. My question immediately becomes, do you know that it's him? Like, are you certain that it's him, or do you believe that it's him? Right? I don't know. I can't ask any follow-up questions, but if you are certain as a fact, like it's his face, it's his picture, it's his name, like first, middle, and last name, and you know that it's him, then I think that you have to go. I strongly encourage you to go and have a conversation on appropriate engagement with the corporate social media page, and to create a policy to let folks know what's appropriate as an employee when commenting on social media posts. So that's number one. The second piece of this comment or this conversation is about his performance, right? Like he's disengaged, he's not, behaving properly. And that's more complicated. That's really a conversation about, should progressive discipline be considered? I'm not sure. What you have to ask yourself is, are you paying attention to his performance because you don't like the critiques that he is offering about the organization? Because if that's the case, then it's kind of retaliatory what it is that you're doing right now. But I don't know. I haven't spoken to the person that you're referring to. Gosh, it's so complicated. But I will say, ask yourself, do some self-reflection and say, am I targeting this person because he is making me upset, right? And if the answer is no, he actually is just not doing a good job, then there's nothing inappropriate about you sitting down and having a conversation about expectations and having a conversation about, with tangible, bring your receipts now, saying these 4 things didn't go as planned and we need for it to get back on track, right? As a step 1, to coach him and counsel him to get back on track and meet your expectations. So that's the second component to this. The next one is, it seems like his critique is valid, right? So you haven't been moving the dial on your diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and that you've been talking about probably with the workforce, and it might be feeling a little performative. That was another question that came up in the Ask Us campaign. If you're just talking about things and then you don't put rubber to the road, then it is performative and it can make your workforce feel like you're being disingenuous. So you have to address and proactively start to walk the talk that you've been kind of professing and pontificating about inside your organization, or else the critique is credible, relevant, and should be taken into strong consideration. And my last piece of feedback or coaching to you is to sit down, like even bringing a third-party facilitator to sit down with this individual and really get a deep and comprehensive understanding of what his expectations are or his interests are in seeing the organization move, grow, and evolve, how he can contribute to that forward growth and progress, and then, you know, what are reasonable expectations and timelines moving forward, right? Which can feel like a personal attack to you, especially, it sounds like this may be your company, or maybe you're just in leadership. So when people offer these critiques, it can feel like an indictment on you and your commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. I implore you to not feel that way, right? Don't feel that way. Sit down, be settled, and really try to take his feedback from a very kind of good faith perspective. Like he's just trying to be a true ally and advocate. So you can hold him accountable while also setting some expectations and then getting to work. Because if it's been a long period of time where you've been talking about DEI and you haven't been able to make anything actually pop, then it's time to get to work. All right. Thank you so much for submitting your question. It was a complicated question. Thank you for trusting me to respond to your question. If you have follow-up questions, you can either submit it to the Ask Us campaign, or you can shoot us an email and we can jump on a call, because this seems like a very sensitive matter. And it seems like maybe you need to address it sooner, like today, rather than later, like next week. All right. So again, thank you all for watching, for submitting, for subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. And connect with us on LinkedIn and follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much.